Don't you think you individually have emboldened white people to undermine us, and you have single-handedly destroyed the diplomatic relations of South Africa with other countries, and you have destroyed and juniorized the Department of International Relations. Mr. President.
Africa Connect News is your #1 news. We use credible sources, official statements, and verified online content for educational, analytical, and informational use. Accuracy is not guaranteed. Viewers should verify independently. We do not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our aim is to offer context-rich insights, amplify local voices, and support informed dialogue in Africa and beyond. Viewer discretion advised.
Mr. President, I don't know wittingly or unwittingly, when you were answering the question about our relationship with the USA, not once have you mentioned DERCO or Minister of International Relations. And this is as a result of you having met Elon Musk during the UN General Assembly and knowing very well the views of Elon Musk about South Africa, racist, white supremacist views about South Africa, which led to you meeting him because you thought you were going to clarify those issues. Unrepentant racist became emboldened and then made more bad remarks about South Africa even after meeting you physically. You still saw a need to go outside the diplomatic channels and made a contact with an individual, not using diplomatic relations or mechanism within which we resolve diplomatic disputes as South Africa. Don't you think you individually have emboldened white people to undermine us, and you have single-handedly destroyed the diplomatic relations of South Africa with other countries, and you have destroyed and juniorized the Department of International Relations? Mr. President. And le swantse le tsebe gore nto ya o bolela le ditsotsi tja o tshwana le bo Elon Musk go re taletša ka bana ba makgowa. And worse, Elon Musk, you organized a meeting with him or that telephone conversation through his immoral father, politically, economically, and otherwise. A man who has engaged in business in South Africa through illegal means, even when he has admitted to do so. Those are the type of characters you can't speak to. Imagine, Mr. President, had they said Donald Trump called the Guptas during that time. What were you going to say? You are going to say that Guptas are an independent state actor. You are not going to say that. You are going to feel undermined. And that's exactly what you have done. What are you saying about established practices of resolving issues in a diplomatic way and diplomatic channels in South Africa? Do you have a full confidence in the Minister of DERCO and the department itself? You speak about an ambassador in Washington or New York. That ambassador belongs to the Department of International Relations. Instead of talking about international relations, leadership, and the department, you talk about ambassador. But when you talk about DRC, you talk about Minister of Defense is doing 1, 2, 3. You don't say ambassador in DRC is doing 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters Party, has once again captivated international attention with his recent speech in the United States. Malema, known for his outspoken and often controversial statements, addressed a packed auditorium at the prestigious Howard University in Washington, D.C., delivering a powerful message that has since sparked global conversation. The genesis of this event dates back to early May when Malema accepted an invitation from several Pan-Africanist student groups at Howard University. His visit was part of a broader speaking tour intended to strengthen ties between African diaspora communities and to discuss strategies for achieving economic justice and racial equality. The event was organized under the theme, Decolonizing the Global South, reflecting Malema's long-standing advocacy for African unity and the redistribution of wealth. In his speech, Malema wasted no time diving into pressing global issues. He began by condemning what he described as the continued economic exploitation of Africa by former colonial powers and multinational corporations. He emphasized the historical injustices that have left the continent impoverished, arguing that the global financial system remains fundamentally skewed against African nations. His voice thundered through the hall as he declared, "Africa is not a charity case. We are a continent of wealth and promise that deserves its fair share of the world's resources." Malema also criticized the Western media for what he termed a biased portrayal of Africa, highlighting that stories of corruption and conflict overshadow the continent's achievements and innovations. He called on African leaders to unite and demand reparations for centuries of colonial plunder, echoing demands that have gained traction in various political circles across the continent. The speech did not shy away from sensitive topics, including the situation in Palestine and the ongoing conflicts in Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Malema condemned what he called the selective outrage of the international community, noting that conflicts in Africa are often ignored until they threaten Western interests. He challenged African governments to take the lead in resolving continental disputes without relying on Western intervention. Throughout the address, Malema skillfully wove together themes of anti-imperialism, economic liberation, and Pan-African solidarity. His call for the nationalization of key industries in African countries resonated deeply with some attendees, though it also reignited debates about the viability of such policies in the globalized economy. Reactions to Malema's speech were immediate and polarizing. Supporters praised his courage and eloquence, describing his remarks as a necessary wake-up call for both African leaders and the international community. Critics, however, accused him of oversimplifying complex issues and promoting populist rhetoric that could exacerbate tensions between Africa and its global partners. On social media, hashtags like #MalemaInDC and #AfricaSpeaks trended for hours, with users from around the world sharing clips of his speech and engaging in heated debates. Prominent African American activists expressed solidarity with Malema's message, highlighting the shared struggle against systemic racism and economic injustice. Meanwhile, officials from the South African government maintained a cautious stance, with some distancing themselves from Malema's more radical proposals. Economists and political analysts weighed in, pointing out that while his critique of Western economic dominance is valid, implementing his proposals would require careful planning to avoid unintended consequences, such as capital flight or trade disputes. As the dust settles from this fiery speech, one thing is clear: Julius Malema has once again positioned himself at the center of a global conversation about Africa's place in the world. Whether his proposals can be translated into policy remains to be seen, but his words have sparked a renewed sense of urgency about the need for Africa to chart its own economic destiny.
That's all for now on Africa Connect News. Thank you for staying informed with us. For more updates, context-rich insights, and authentic African perspectives, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, stay connected, stay informed, and above all, stay proudly African. This is Africa Connect News.